because Black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood.
Black fatigue? This is where we're at now? Imagine how we feel. Y'all even colonized that.
Hydrattery, animalistic. This is why people have Black fatigue. I'm sick and tired of opening up TikTok and seeing brawls on cruise ships, brawls in the airport, like literally the most ghetto behavior. We're tired.
So now y'all got Black fatigue because Black people are calling y'all out, saying no and saying fuck around and find out. Now all of a sudden y'all are exhausted from Black people.
Black fatigue is a term that non-Black people are using to express the fact that they are sick and tired of being held accountable for saying and doing whatever the hell they want to Black people. They're sick and tired of Black people bucking up at the system, bucking up at people, telling people, hey, you shouldn't be saying that to us. Hey, you cannot do this to us. Hey, we will not let you disrespect us. Hey, we will not let you say whatever you want and do what you want to us. People are sick and tired of being told no. That is what Black fatigue is. You guys are being told no and you don't like it, especially white people. Y'all not used to Black people telling you no.
You know what I got? I got fucking white fatigue. That's what I got.
Black fatigue is the new DEI. So apparently some white people are having black fatigue. Really? Can you believe this? I mean, the audacity. So apparently some white people are sick and tired of being held accountable. They're sick and tired of being told you cannot do this, you cannot do that. You cannot do that to people of color and Black people in general. And they have been coming here online and venting out their feelings and saying that Black people's reactions, Black people actions are too ghetto, and they're tired of always being held as the villains. I mean, apart from the fact that, you know, Black fatigue does not even represent what they are saying. Black fatigue means the physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion that Black people have been going through since the days of Jim Crow era and the systemic, you know, racism in the current modern day. Now, the fact that some palm-colored women are actually using this and colonizing it as the new DEI is actually absurd. What do Black people have to say about this? Because a lot of Black people have come out and actually responded to that video. This term started from the palm-colored lady who actually was throwing racial slurs at a 5-year-old, you know, Black kid for taking a toy out of his purse. We all have seen that video going viral. So what do Black people have to say about this? If you're new, kindly consider subscribing and like this video and drop me your opinions in the comment section below. Let's take a look. I'll be back with more commentary.
App just now to see that the word Black fatigue is trending amongst a lot of different people. And before I made this video, I scrolled on it and I said, let me see what people are talking about.
Because Black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood, hydrattery, animalistic. This is why people have Black fatigue. I'm sick and tired of opening up TikTok and seeing brawls on cruise ships, brawls in the airport, like literally the most ghetto behavior. We're tired.
A white woman was talking about Shiloh Hendricks, the lady that called the 5-year-old the N-word, and she said, that shouldn't have happened, but people have Black fatigue. People are tired of ghetto-ness, loudness. People are just tired of Black people. So we all have fatigue. And it got me thinking, I've heard the phrase Black fatigue before, and I know in my heart of hearts that that relates to the fatigue that Black people experience existing in this country and around the world, dealing with racism and prejudices that have been put on us due to the history of violence, Jim Crow, segregation. So how are white people appropriating Black fatigue? They replaced DEI with Black fatigue. And you guys are using that because you're tired of being held accountable for things that you should be held accountable for in this country, and you want to be openly racist to us. This entire discourse is rooted in racism. You want to be able to say you're tired of Black people for having a voice. You're tired of us for existing in spaces we exist in. You're tired of us for not all being poor. Tired of us. You're tired of the fact that some of us are doing better than you, but when we live in a country that is based on racism and systematic racism that still exists today, you can't be mad that we're calling you out for it. What the fuck are we talking about?
So now y'all got Black fatigue because Black people are calling y'all out, saying no and saying fuck around and find out. Now all of a sudden y'all are exhausted from Black people. Like, y'all show every single day that y'all are more tired of speaking of the people that speak up about racism and inequalities, and y'all don't really care about the actual racism and inequalities that people suffer from. But we are the ones that have a victim mindset. Please make it make sense. And then another thing, y'all are literally using the term incorrectly. That is not what black fatigue means. I'm gonna make it easy and just read it straight from ChatGPT, because y'all just seem like y'all don't know anything. Black fatigue refers to the physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion experienced by many black people as a result of enduring systematic racism, discrimination, and repeated racial trauma over time. And then the people that are using it in a way to say that they're tired of specific black groups, as far as like this ghetto black people, white people use the term to describe black people when we were in the slums, actually when they put us in the projects because we didn't have anything because of literally slavery and Jim Crow. I can keep going on. So we were in the ghetto, but then everything that we did was ghetto. But in today, black people are not the only ones that's ghetto. Y'all don't call the Karen who yells at employees in the goddamn retail stores ghetto, because that's very ghetto. You know how many white people I have seen fighting? Very ghetto. In public, I have neighbors and people that live near me, white people, who will walk their dogs with their headscarf or bonnet or whatever they want to use on their head and a robe. Yet when black people do it, let a black woman go outside in her robe and her bonnet to walk her dog. Y'all gonna call it ghetto. Do you know how many times I've been to a restaurant and there was a table of white people, loud, drunk and loud? Stop associating the term ghetto with black people. And to be honest, all of y'all are exhausting. All of y'all just lack accountability. Some of y'all are just brainwashed. And the majority of y'all talking on these topics are so freaking uneducated. It is mind-blowing. Y'all have no idea what y'all talking about. Like, y'all see somebody throw a term out on the internet and y'all all just run with it without even knowing the history or the actual freaking definition of the term. You cannot oppress and discriminate against a group of people and then get upset and say that you're exhausted from them speaking out about them being oppressed. Bro, the gaslighting and lack of accountability. And then y'all try to act like, well, it's not us. We are not our ancestors. We didn't do that to y'all ancestors. Hate crimes happen today. Hate crimes, pay gaps, racial discrimination with jobs and housing still happens today. Didn't one of these banks, credit unions, just get called out for denying more black loans than anybody, even though those people qualified? And y'all trying to act like we're not acting like the victims. We are victims. And instead of owning up to the fact that this country has a problem, y'all sit here and try to gaslight somebody to thinking that they're just making something a problem that's not a problem. Like, this is not made up in our brains. This is not just something that we're just pulling out of our ass. And if it was something that we were lying about, y'all would not be trying to take it, just hide y'all history so bad. Y'all just want to take history out of the history books and what y'all did to our ancestors so we can just look like the bad guys. Black people can just look like we're just poor because of our own fault. The crack epidemic happened because of us, not because of y'all. Y'all really want to paint the picture that we are the problem. While y'all was studying on our brains back then, somebody need to study y'all's, because it's truly sickening the way that y'all think sometimes.
Black fatigue, this is where we at now. Imagine how we feel. Y'all even colonized that. Like, black fatigue is not what y'all created it to be. It was the fatigue of black people having to exist in this country and dealing with all y'all dumb shit. We were tired, not y'all. Imagine telling the internet that you're tired of all the ghetto-ness and the ratchetness and all of the fights when y'all are quite literally the godfathers of violence in this country. And then all the ghetto and ratchet speak, your kids are emulating exactly what we say and calling it Gen Alpha and Gen Z speak when it was just AAVE repackaged to be palatable for white people. What are we talking? Like, y'all are quite literally exhausting. But like, 8.5 by 11s are going to do this all the time. I'm not worried about the hueless. However, the black people getting on and co-signing the black fatigue to make white people feel better could not be me. Imagine agreeing with white people when they aren't even picking you. Super weird. But like, sure, being held accountable for your racist ideology. If I were white and I had to constantly hear that black people are right and then it proves out and you're sitting there being mad, yeah, I'd be mad too. I too would be annoyed if I were half the age of black women but looked twice as old as them. Yeah, I'd be pissed too. So like, hold your black fatigue and raise yourself some accountability. Because oof. Happy Monday, y'all. Black fatigue, shut up.
There was a white woman who has now since deleted her video talking about black fatigue and how she and the rest of society are so fed up with the ghetto and ratchet behavior, the entitlement, the victimhood. Her words, not mine. Couple of things. One, black fatigue is a real thing, but it's not what that lady was saying. Black fatigue is the emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by the daily stress of living under systemic racism and its consequences. So the black community has black fatigue due to the oppression they've lived under in this country since its inception. Two, it never ceases to amaze me how little most white people are willing to look at the true history of this nation and understand that while they personally may not have owned slaves or lynched black people or used black babies as alligator bait or conducted experiments on black people or operated on black women without pain medicine because they didn't think black women could feel pain, they are still benefiting off the society and systems that made those things possible. Racism is deeply rooted in this country from the beginning. We stole this land from the indigenous Native Americans. We brought black people to this country against their will and sold them into slaveries. We ripped their families apart. We have maligned, maimed, and misused the black community since the first ship arrived on the shores of the United States. Do you understand how hard the fight has been to get even a semblance of equality in this country? And now, what little progress we've made is being undone by this administration. Trump and this administration has made people like that woman and the many racist commenters on that post feel comfortable to speak so publicly about their racist views and feelings. Because, spoiler alert, nothing will happen to them. Black people are questioned about everything they do, even if they're just walking down the street. Until this country as a whole accepts responsibility for how we were designed and built, this country will never see true equality.
Dear black people, could you stop making videos that say, "Dear white people, if you don't have a problem with people that look like me, would you be my friend?" Racism died with Gen X. As a widespread issue, that was boomers. It died with Gen X. Most of us are grandparents now, and apparently you didn't even notice. Like, we put in the work. We stopped judging people by the color of their skin, and you didn't even notice. But now we feel your judgment all the time, and we're tired of walking on eggshells because we know there's a very good chance that you probably have a problem with our skin color, and because you assume that we're racist while you're being racist. It died down so much that now youth, a lot of white youth uses the N-bomb. I can't imagine doing that. It hurts me, but they use it casually. It's not because they're racist. Nope. It's because it's a huge part of pop culture, and it has been for 30 years, over 30 years, since hip-hop went mainstream, since gangster rap went mainstream, and the word was everywhere. And kids today are baffled by racism. They think it's so stupid that it's laughable. Yet there's a word that is ubiquitous in pop culture that a large percentage of the population just isn't permitted to use. They don't understand that. They think it's ridiculous, so they rebel against it, as kids do when they don't understand something and they see it as ridiculous and dumb. You can feel how you feel about that. I feel how I feel about it. I don't like it at all. I taught my kids to never say that word because it was a word that was created for hate. But the word has changed, I guess. I can't change the way I view it, but for them it's changed. Dear Black people, oh, I love you. I love your culture. I love your swagger. I love your hair. I love how you can speak with roundness while I speak in squares and triangles. But I also love my culture, and I love my hair, and I love my skin, and I love your skin, and I love our differences and our commonalities. And it's time to heal. If you don't focus on healing how you view white people and then how you view yourselves in relation to white people, because the superiority complex only ever masks an inferiority complex, then we're going to be doing a civil rights movement for white people in like 20, 30 years. And I know some of you would like that. But that just says that you're the racist now because white people aren't the racists anymore. And I'm not saying there isn't a single white person who's racist. There's assholes in every group and every color. But the majority of us left that with our parents or grandparents. It doesn't even make sense to us. And we don't need to feel guilty about what our ancestors did because we're the ones that fixed it. It's over now. Unless you want to perpetuate it.
They've already found a replacement for DEI. I mentioned this a few months ago, but the conversation of DEI is going to come to a close. That is not going to work anymore. Now the new talking point, the new buzzword, the new buzz phrase is black fatigue. Oh yes, black fatigue. That's what they're going to do. They're going to try and soften this blow of we don't want to be around black people. You see, the trad wife lady, Shiloh Hendricks, these are people who test the waters. These type of people, these figures are brought to the forefront, all right? They are brought front and center in order to get us upset, get us talking, and create a bit of controversy. It's also the nationalists, the extremists, whoever you want to put in that movement. It's also they can come around and start the conversation of us being a problem. And they never start out by overtly saying we are sick of black people. They never start out by overtly saying we are sick of black people. What they do is they start with these soft buzz words. Black fatigue. Aren't you just tired of feeling like black people are blaming white people for all of their problems? Aren't you just tired of feeling like everything in here is catered to black people just to make them feel better about everything? This is the rebrand, okay? This is the new way that they're going to push the same type of messages that they pushed when they were talking about DEI being a problem, when they were talking about wokeism being a problem. But I think it's time for us to get ahead of these. It's time for us to call them out in the beginning so that they never gain the momentum that they've gained in the past. So get ready. Your FYPs are going to fill up with all of these people talking about black fatigue. And we know that is for a reason.
White people who are appropriating the term black fatigue are doing so because their goal was to never see us happy in our blackness, be proud of our blackness, choose blackness over whiteness. Being is it that we make up such a small percentage of America, it's interesting to me how offended they are by maybe 1 out of 10 people, if they even know one of us.
This black fatigue phenomenon is a problem. Have you all seen the video of the lady talking about black fatigue and how white people are just over us, over everything having to be either about or around black people? That's a rally cry. It's no longer dog whistles. That is a rallying cry, because I've seen that phrase used several times today in a lot of comment sections. This is their time to say what they've always wanted to say. They're tired of us. They're sick of us. They're sick of having to hide who they really are. They're sick of having to pretend like, they're cool with us being around and tolerant. They are sick of us. And they're telling each other that they too are sick of us. And it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before it becomes an actual criminal defense. It will be a defense just like innocent by reason of insanity. They are giving each other permission. And when something crazy happens, it's just going to take the right lawyer and the right judge willing to entertain that concept as a defense. And it only takes one of each, and then a legal precedent where some tragic incident is going to be used as an example. Just watch. Pay attention for the next 90 days how much that phrase is used on this app, because it's not a content violation. I did that experiment tonight too. We're officially on alert. Pay attention. Pay attention.
Black fatigue, that's the best you could do to try to get the attention of black people, is black fatigue. Baby, listen, if you got a problem with what's coming up on your timeline or your FYP, stop watching, because that's the only reason why it's coming up, because you watching, baby. That's why. Black fatigue, you want to say what you want to say what you want to say, but say it with your chest. Okay? Don't get on here saying what you want to say and then play the victim. Okay? And putting up GoFundMe's, asking for help and all of that. If you gonna say it with your chest. Black fatigue is what you came up with. We do not care. Baby, we've been tired for centuries. We could care less what you feel about us. What you tired of seeing is these educated black people. That's what you tired of seeing. You tired of seeing these black people surviving behind everything that y'all still trying to do. That's what you tired of seeing. But you will never say it. You will never say it. That's what you tired of seeing. You tired of seeing black people survive throughout all the stuff that y'all trying to do. That's what you tired of seeing. But if you gonna say what you want to say it with your chest. Okay? And deal with the consequences that come behind it. Good day.
You know what I got? I got fucking white fatigue. That's what I got. Why people always complaining about reverse racism and that other people are discriminating against, and white people saying that they don't have enough rights and their voices are getting shut down. White people saying, oh, the reason we voted for Donald Trump is because you guys are just too woke and too extreme. You guys are radical leftists. What the fuck is radical about equality? What the fuck is radical about viewing all people and saying, you know what, they deserve the rights that we have? I could not imagine being a black person in this environment. Talking about black fatigue. Are you so serious? Y'all are just pissed off that everything that they touch, they do better than us. Their food, their sports, their music, everything. Maybe stop trying to pretend like you're the one that's oppressed and work on being a better human. That would probably be beneficial to everybody. Because this shit's tiring.
Alright guys, there you have it. Actually, as we have seen in the videos that I've compiled for you, a lot of white people are coming here online and saying that they are having black fatigue. In general, what they want to mean is that they are tired of black people. They're tired of their actions and calling their actions too ghetto, and saying that black people actually always come here online and hold them accountable for things that they did not do themselves, for things that were done by their ancestors, not directly them. But we all know that if you grew up in a systemic racism, a system that actually favors you of course you are bound to behave like what that system has actually induced you to behave like. But I want us actually to, look at what black fatigue is, because, these people are colonizing the word black fatigue. They don't even know what that black fatigue actually means. What is black fatigue? Black fatigue is a term that refers to the physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion experienced by many black people as a result of repeated exposure to racism, discrimination, and systemic inequality. Now, it captures the toll of constantly navigating environments where bias, microaggression, injustices, and social pressures are persistent. That is actually, the definition of black fatigue. But these people are coming here and they are misrepresenting the term black fatigue. But what they want to mean is that they are tired of being held accountable for everything that they do wrong. They're tired of being held accountable of actually, the racism that they keep showing to people of color. They don't want to be told, don't do this, don't do that to minority groups, don't do that to, people of color. It is wrong of you to behave in this way. And many of them are claiming the fact that black people also are not holding accountable their lives. They always have excuses about, why they do not become successful. But we all know why, a lot of people of color, especially African Americans, will end up not becoming successful, especially in industries like professional industries, apart from talent, because you cannot control talent. You can beat talent. This is why you find that a lot of African Americans are actually more, successful in industries of talent. In music, you find that black people are the dominant group there. With rap culture and jazz and R&B. And also look at the filming industry. Since they brought equality there, black films have been actually doing quite well. Look at sports. Look at sports, for instance, the NBA, the NFL. You find that black people are more successful there because you cannot beat talent. You cannot control talent. It is not possible. But when it comes to professions like, doctors, professions like engineers, professions, these kinds of professions where you need a good school, you need, a great background for you to be able to excel in these fields, because, with a good school, with a good background, you get to have information and the skills that you need for you to be able to compete in these kinds of fields. But you'll find that a lot of African American communities have the worst schools because they are underfunded. Now this in turn actually leads up to a lot of dropouts in the African American communities, which leads to them being less represented in these fields, not because they cannot actually excel in them. As we all know, if given the chance, African Americans, black people will always excel. We all know that the best doctor in the world, Dr. Ben Carson, was actually a black American. We all know that, a lot of engineering, a lot of NASA experts are actually, black people. This shows you that they're afraid of black people excellence. They are afraid of what they can do when given the chance. So the audacity of this woman to actually come here and declare that she has black fatigue, it doesn't make sense. How would you have black fatigue? It doesn't make sense, because you're trying to use this term as if it was DEI. This is what you did with DEI. You misrepresent a word for the wrong meaning and the wrong expression. Now, as we have seen, guys, a lot of black people have come here and responded to this woman for saying that she is having black fatigue. What do you think about today's episode? Do you think that white people have black fatigue or can have black fatigue? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm Joel Mugisha, your presenter for today, and as always, see you on the next episode.